Hey. What's up, hybrids? Welcome back to another episode of the Phantom Hybrid Podcast. This is Hanako, and I'm here with Casey and Michelle, and we are discussing episode 18 of the final season of The Walking Dead. And yay, we got Michelle for these last few episodes.
Yay!
She is finally
Yes,
caught
yes.
up. You had to
Finally.
you had to get caught up on what, 3 seasons? Because you stopped in 8?
8. So 3 seasons. So I had to start over at season 8 all the way to current.
Okay. So, what are your thoughts before we get into the episode? Just kind of generalize. What are your thoughts? Because you left off with like the scavengers, and so much has happened since.
Yes. Yes, with Negan and everything. So overall, I truly enjoyed just the transition from season 8 to 11. And there's actually a transition on how the show is like going to me. Like even I won't say villains, but the antagonist is just different. So I enjoyed the kind of like season 11 was just different from season 10. I guess coming from the Walkers, because the Walkers was kind of, I'm sorry, not Walkers, Whisperers. That was dark.
It was.
Extremely dark. So this seems a little bit more lighter.
Okay.
Somewhat.
Okay.
I'm saying somewhat, but from the Whisperers, it's completely different. So I enjoy that. I also enjoyed the transition for the growth in Negan, because in the beginning I couldn't understand how people would say, "Oh, there's going to be a Negan and Maggie show," and I'm like, "How the hell this is going to happen?"
She asks us every time we talk.
Literally, she should be killing him every time she sees him. However, I actually saw it, and I'm like, "Ooh, I really like Negan."
It's a really interesting redemption story,
right? But if you listen to him, you killed his people. He's gonna kill your people.
We have this conversation on this show all the time because I'm very active on Twitter now, and I see like the commentary from the fans, and you have some that are way over here, you have some way over here, you have some that are kind of sort of in the middle, and it's really interesting to see how people, especially with his character, he is such a polarizing character, because for the people who defend him or who are okay with his redemption arc, the people who can't stand him, oh my God, it's like war. It's war. Okay.
It is, but you have to think about, okay, I don't like how he ruled his people, but if you think about, if we was coming from their side, we would think Rick and them were evil too.
We say it
all the time.
We would think that. So yes, it's our favorite characters that got murdered by this group and by him. However, we were on the other side of the fence. It's like, wow, this group just comes in out of nowhere and interrupts our flow, killing us in our sleep.
Right.
What did we do at the outpost? Nothing.
Right.
So.
Okay. So here's my question. Having gotten caught up now, and now that you know the Whisperer story and everything, and you saw a little bit of Alpha's backstory as you were catching up, what do you think about her character now that you know a little bit more about her, compared to what we saw in Tales of the Walking Dead?
Well, everything fits in the timeline for her. So I just want to say she was a tad bit already crazy beforehand. I just want y'all to know it was already there.
Yeah.
Just got brought out.
Yeah. I mean, when you talk about letting your child turn blue, when she put the dry cleaning bag on her head and just sitting there and watching, I was like, yeah.
Yes.
You were different kind of special.
Yeah, she was different. But I'm glad that I was able to see it this way.
Okay.
And seeing her and then going back to the past.
Okay.
Yeah, because with Tales, it ended right. All you really saw was her and Hera. So you didn't get none of the other
until
you actually saw what happened. So you knew she was on the boat and in the boat about to kill Lydia to these people finding her.
Right. So, yeah. And then Beta was just right behind her with craziness.
Yeah.
When he started talking to her head that he was carrying around. I was like, I'm done.
That was
Y'all need to kill him.
That was
Y'all
interesting.
need to kill him quick. So,
but a lot of them feel like they can hear stuff and
right. And I was a little concerned when Negan had joined the group because I didn't know what was going on. And then when they had that, their nasty love in the forest, I was like,
he needed a crude reward.
I'm like, honey, this don't even seem like the group you will hang with. You're not gonna fit in with this group. But I see, what happened.
Yeah. Right.
The funniest part of the whole thing when Negan went, when he's getting acclimated to being a walker, he had skinned the little thing and put his little skin in there. Beta came with this big ass thing. That was the funniest because Beta was like, I don't like him. I'm gonna outshine him on everything that he do. That was the funny. I don't know if it was meant to be funniest montage, but that was the funniest thing I've ever seen.
So,
okay, all right. So let's get into episode 18. So we ended the episode with Daryl having a knife to Lance's throat, and so we start this episode. He still has it. He still has the knife to Lance's throat, and the soldiers are telling him to put his stuff down. And then all of a sudden, here comes Pamela Milton and Mercer and Carol. And I was like, damn, y'all got there quick.
Very quick.
Very quick.
Very quick. Like she struck that deal and they got in their trucks and they were there.
Me and Hanako had this question last week, where they are on this map. Because they is traveling, because remember we said from Ohio to Virginia was like 8 hour
I think we looked it up. Yeah, they're walking. Now, of course, Pamela has her vehicle, her government vehicle, but still that's going to take a while for them to get there. So I guess in a way those stories are being told kind of linear, like this is what's happening here while this is what's happening there. And it just makes it seem like, okay, yeah, y'all got there kind of quick, but it's kind of jarring in a sense because you don't really have a sense of time. And then it does seem like a lot of things are happening kind of off the screen. So it kind of makes it hard to kind of gauge where they are in time. But either way it goes, Lance is lucky they showed up, because when I tell you Daryl looked like he was about to kill him.
Oh, he was.
Yeah. Kill him dead.
He was.
Pamela was telling him to stop. He was like, nope. Mercer was telling him to stop. He was like, nope. And we got the second F-bomb of this last part of the season. I really think they're going to give us an F-bomb every episode for the last 8 episodes. I mean, you might as well.
You get them all in.
Because we got it from Negan last episode. We got it from Daryl. So now who do we need an F-bomb from? Carol.
Aaron.
I think it would be weird for me to hear Aaron say an F-bomb.
Yeah.
No, he's gonna be mad about something.
Rosita. Well, we already got one from Rosita in the last 8 episodes. So okay, we'll figure that out. But anyway, so Daryl still has the knife to Lance's throat, and then here comes Carol. And he was looking at her like, what did you do? And I think at this part, they're still kind of, I think they're still a little bit estranged, but they're kind of like, it's not like they're not talking to each other, but I think things are still a little weird between them. So I don't know. Look, Daryl, she says she handled it. Leave her alone. But the deal that she got, she said that they would be able to go back to their homes. No charges would be filed. And what was it? She said debts would be cleared on both sides and deaths would be cleared for both sides. And I was like, wait, who else? I can't remember who died on our end. Did anybody die on our end? I don't think so. I think our people may have killed some folks.
Like, yeah, I mean, there was some deaths, but it's not, I hate to say this, important characters. It was just in the background.
Of our people?
Well,
maybe they killed Maybe they killed Virgil, and that's why
Hilltop?
we can't find.
Like, wasn't there some deaths at Hilltop or even at? We can even count the apartment.
Oh yeah, the apartment.
Came from
because they were talking to Negan,
apartments.
and they were talking. Yeah, okay.
They were
Or
killed
they
over
were talking
there.
to Annie. Annie was there, so yeah.
And the guy who was cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs, who they threw off the building.
Oh yeah, him. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah. So,
but nobody like important to us.
Yeah, I was like nobody important.
No, nobody is part of the alpha group, part of our group. Okay, but yeah, so they would get to go back to their homes. They would get all the supplies that they needed to complete rebuilding. They would get food. They would get water. I was like, how is this a bad plan?
And supplies to fix.
Right. I was like, okay. Initially, I thought, okay, there's nothing wrong with this plan, and even though we got all the way through the episode with nothing happening, well, almost nothing happening to change that, I still felt like, I don't know if I believe that Pamela will hold up to her end of the bargain.
Nothing she said made me believe her.
Nothing.
Nothing.
And that's what I was talking about with transition with antagonists, because the other ones is just gritty. We know we go out there, we're going to shoot each other. We're just scrambling for our, for our territory. But this is all this politics and her talking, her and Hornsby. I can't right now. I just want someone to stab them in their sleep.
So since you go into this her and Hornsby thing, I'm gonna go ahead and get this out of the way, because me and Casey's been talking about this since the Commonwealth and Pamela Milton have been introduced. Have I not said that there was something between Pamela and Hornsby, something weird, something sexual, probably one-sided, but have I not been saying this from the beginning?
Yeah, because when he was sitting on the ground and she put her hand, he was like, I said
he was just like, I mean, and the way that she was touching him, she was like ruffling his hair, and he's just like, I was like, oh yeah, there's something there. Absolutely. I think it might be unrequited, but she's using it. I was like,
absolutely.
That's
his place.
It's like when you in love with the prom queen, and the prom queen now, and she have all her little friends and string you along a little bit where you thinking.
Right.
Pamela is the villain in this.
I don't know, because even when Lance is talking about, when she's kind of holding on to, oh yeah, your way of life at the Commonwealth is over. He was like, hold up, after everything I've done for you, I was like, what kind of everything is this, Lance?
Is she dirty too?
He's not clean.
Right. But he was like, you've never had a problem with how I did things before.
Correct.
That makes me feel like she might have had an inkling about what was going on in those houses, but she didn't know Sebastian was involved. I think she kind of turned a blind eye to whatever it was that Lance was doing. But now that her son is involved, she's like all high and mighty, like, oh no, you've done stuff and you sully my good name. Really?
Right.
Honey, you sullied that name long time ago. Because remember, wasn't Connie an investigative report investigating her father?
Her uncle. Her uncle. She got Milton's uncle, I think she said, kicked out of Congress or kicked out of the Senate. So either way,
that family dirt run deep.
And it probably does, because her dad was the president. He was like the actual president before the world fell. So, looking at the trajectory of this episode and how things kind of went from promising to oh shit, because it's like, I was really hoping, I'm not gonna say I really thought, I was really hoping that with everything that was going on, you see Rosita and Gabriel seeming like they're kind of maybe back on track. They're trying to leave out. Daryl is taking care of the kids and he's trying to pack. Aaron has to leave his damn child again. It seemed like we were getting to a point where, oh, we might actually be able to come out of this. Now, I figure if we get out of the Commonwealth with no issues, there's going to be issues down the road. You know what I'm saying? You're not going to let them go scot-free and give them all this stuff to rebuild and just leave them alone. Because you already know.
It was all a lie. It was all a lie.
Right. But it was interesting to see that little bit of hope, like, oh, we get to go home, we get to do this, we get to do that. And then at the end, with what happens to Sebastian, it was like, oh, well.
Right.
Should have known.
But even before Sebastian, I didn't have any plans that anyone was going to go home. Well, I just think she said that. Right. However, as they're walking by,
they did give Jerry, think about it, Jerry and Aaron, Lydia and Elijah, they did leave and they did have a cart full of supplies that they were taking with them to Oceanside. And then Maggie made mention of leaving and going to Hilltop. And then we don't see Maggie for the rest of the episode. So I think at the beginning, she may have been somewhat sincere in letting them go and giving them the means to start over, because one, it means that they get out of her hair and she can go back to ruling the Commonwealth the way it was. Because here's the thing, if you let them go and you let them go to their own homes and let them deal with their stuff, they're not sitting here meddling in your stuff. You don't have to worry about newspaper articles again. You don't have to worry. Now that you've captured Lance and you've blamed Sebastian's shit on him, you don't have to worry about that side of the equation. So in her mind, she may be like, okay, you know what? This is the smart move. Get these folks the fuck out of my way and let them go. But I feel like even if she was sincere in that, there's gonna be something that makes her say, you know what? Maybe I was a little bit too quick in letting them go. So I really do feel like she may have been sincere somewhat at the beginning, because I think at this point, her whole thing is these people have been more trouble than they're worth. Give them the stuff that they need to go do stuff. Because again, for them, it doesn't seem like this stuff is hard for them to come to, or hard for them to get. You get what I'm saying? And I'm gonna circle back around to that because I have some thoughts about that too. But it's like, even at the beginning, when Lance came to Alexandria to help them, when he went to Hilltop, he had so many supplies. They brought them so much stuff. And it was just kind of like, okay, yeah, we want to even trade. But what was the even trade? Y'all come and live with us. How does that, you know what I'm saying? It's kind of like, okay, yeah, you're going to come live with us and we're going to give you jobs. Okay, but what are you really getting out of it? You got a whole lot of trouble. That's what you did, because you didn't realize what group you were asking to come.
Right. And with this group, one, they don't trust anybody anyway.
At all.
And so, two, this is just too much like our old life, and they most of them feel very uncomfortable with this.
Right.
They like being real. They like being in the streets.
And rugged and
free.
Yes.
With no bullshit. That's what it is. They don't want the pretty. Okay, let me not say that. They don't want
the fairy tale.
No, they don't.
I think I would say they kind of sort of want it. Like they want themselves to be safe. They want the kids to have a place to grow up and not be scared all the time. I understand that. That's kind of like when they first got to Alexandria. Michonne was all about it. She was like, look, I think we can build here. I think we can live here and be good. But just like with Rick, Carol, and Daryl, and even Carl was like, I don't want us to get soft. And Rick was like, oh no, that's not going to happen. I think they could have come to Commonwealth. I think they could have made things work. But like y'all said, they don't want the facade. Now, if they can have the Commonwealth and have the walls and have the food and have the security and have the homes and stuff without all the bullshit, I think they would have been cool. They would have still been on their P's and Q's. They still would have had a backup plan. They still would have had an exit strategy just in case things went south. Because come on, let's face it, with our group, anytime they get introduced to a new place, things go south. But again, it's always because they notice the bullshit. When you've been on the road living raw for as long as they have, almost 10 years, and you come into a scenario like this, it's going to be easy for them to pick out the bullshit because they've dealt with the liars and the governors and the this, and you get what I'm saying? So she's probably like, get them out of my way. Just send them home. Give them whatever it is that they want so they don't ever have to darken my doorstep again. So yeah, I think she probably was sincere, but now that her son done got his throat ripped out, yeah, I think that's gonna change. And the crazy thing is, it's gonna change because of the perception. Because if it's not just her, it might be some of the other people who are watching. Somebody's gonna blame Eugene for Sebastian's death, even though I don't think Eugene did that on purpose.
He didn't.
He was trying to save Matt.
He was trying to save her. But however, I mean, if we're gonna go there, since we're already there, however, we can blame all those other people for attempting murder too, who just stood there as the man said, "Help me, help me, help me," and they looking like this.
What they did is, in essence, what people do now. Shit happened. Everybody got their phone out, recording. Y'all just watching. Y'all not trying to help or solve nothing. Because they wasn't even running from the other walkers who was there. They didn't get, it's a show.
Because at that point, I think most of the other walkers had already been killed, because Mercer took out 2, Judith took out 1, Daryl took out 2. So that's 5. And then the one that was on Sebastian, 6. So there's 2 more somewhere in there that I don't know. We probably just missed, or I miscounted. But it's like, okay, you saw the way that people were when they were doing the speeches, when Pamela was getting ready to do her speech, and then she introduced Sebastian. You know, when she got up there to talk, everybody was all, yeah. I was like, wasn't this the same bitch I was booing a couple of days ago? Yes. Oh, you give somebody a scapegoat and it's all happy again. Okay, whatever. But then when Sebastian gets up there and she introduces him, you notice that the crowd approval kind of went down. And I mean, they kept showing Daryl kind of looking, because people were like, or they were sitting there talking, saying stuff about him. So, in that moment, these people still don't believe, like, yeah, okay, you told us Lance did this stuff and he's whatever, but we still don't trust this motherfucker. Like, you can look at Sebastian. You can look at him. So I think at that point, they were probably like, oh, well, you got what you deserve. How many people did you send to die? Because again, yes, they pinned it on Lance. But the fact that Sebastian hid for so long when they were calling for his head, you already know he had something to do with that. Yeah, his mommy got him out of it, but he had something to do with that. So they were probably looking like, oh, okay, so that's for our people that you sent to die so you can have some money. Again, and I asked this question, why the fuck are we dealing with money again? Anyway, that's neither here nor there, because that's going to be a question that we just have. But yeah, I mean, in essence, all of them were guilty for letting him die. Somebody could have hit that thing. All these flower pots. Look, I got it on in the background. All these flower pots. All these,
because they became soft themselves. Did you not see them running around like, what to do? Like, kill the walker. I mean, seriously.
It's 100 of y'all, and it's only 8 walkers.
But they could be of the mind that, if we go back to World Beyond, people were born inside the wall, so they never had to experience, and we don't know how long the Commonwealth has been around.
Yeah, but most of those people in the Commonwealth are grown as adults.
Yeah, they are.
Which means that they were part of the real world.
I was trying to give them the benefit of the
No.
No.
If they were Iris and Hope's age, if they were Carl's age or Gracie's age, I could understand. And they had never been outside the walls, never seen a walker, I could understand. But most of y'all motherfuckers done seen a walker before y'all got behind the walls of this Commonwealth. So you're not gonna tell me.
Maybe there just wasn't anything to pierce the skull with. Maybe that's it.
You didn't even have to pierce the skull. Just get the thing off of him.
Yeah.
And then you got Daryl and Judith right there. Judith with her dad's Colt Python taking care of the walker. I mean,
you see how her friend was looking at her?
I was just about to say something about that. Her friend was looking at her like, almost like she was horrified. I'm like, what did you think? What did you think this little girl was doing before she came to live behind your gates? She been out there on her, with them for 10, 11, however many years. What did you think she was doing? Has Judith ever come across as the type of child who's just going to sit there and let an adult do whatever? No.
Mm-hmm.
Even in the way she carries herself. Like, even though she was different in this episode, I think this is probably the most childish we've seen her. And I don't mean childish in a bad way, but we've seen her acting like a child. But it's funny because I looked at her, I said, I already know what Casey's saying. When
she needed whooping.
When Daryl came out, it was like, where's Judith? I said,
he looked like he wanted to whoop her.
Yeah.
He looked like he wanted to whoop her.
But it's like,
you don't have time for this shit. We do not have time for this.
That's exactly what the fuck he said. Like,
because again,
I don't know.
Because again, Daryl is not trustful of this place. He's not trustful of this place, but I think if Judith had stayed there a little bit longer, then she would have become what they call Carl calls soft. Try saying that 5 times fast. But I think that would have happened to her because she's never had that in her life. So for it to all of a sudden be presented to her, yeah.
She was already getting there.
Yeah. So I hate to say it, I'm kind of glad it happened this way because now she realizes, like, okay, I can be comfortable, but not so comfortable that I forget what to do. Because the fact that she sat there and froze when that walker was coming towards her, she was just looking scared. I was like, Judith, baby, how many walkers have you killed? Mm-hmm. But again, we don't know how long they've been there. We don't know how long they've been in the Commonwealth. But I know it's been.
You don't forget that.
You know what? I would say you don't forget it, but if you get so complacent, think about it. Up until this episode, we've never seen I don't think we've ever seen a breach of walkers inside the Commonwealth walls. And if you've been there for a long time, especially you're a young girl, think about it. Judith in this, she's still supposed to be around the 11, 12-year-old age range. Even though she looks a little older, she's still supposed to be a bit young. If she's gotten to the point where she's in this place, she has all of these things she's never been exposed to before. She has all of her adults with her to protect her. Nothing bad has happened. She hasn't been kidnapped. She hasn't had to deal with any walkers. Her young mind may have been like, okay, you know what? Maybe that part of my life is over. And to be suddenly confronted with it again, especially after she had the conversation with Daryl, she was like, it's supposed to be better. I don't want to go back to carrying the gun because then that tells me that this is always going to be a part of my life and that's not what I want. So for her to see that so visibly in front of her, yes, this is a part of your life. I think she was just in shock, like, damn, am I really going to have to do this? Is this going to be the rest of my life?
But you know what? Well, also her picking that gun up was kind of like, remember when Michonne was like, I'm done, and she put her katana on the wall? This was kind of that instance as well, where Judith thought she had some relief. Well, oh, I can put my sword down, I can put my gun down, I don't have to do anything, I can just be a kid. And so then when she realizes, no, these people need my help. Kind of the same realization that Michonne had.
And she even mentioned Michonne wanting to put down her sword for good.
So the same thing. It's like it's a callback to that, where you want to be and feel so safe that I don't have to do this anymore. But then you also have to know that at any time this can happen, or any of the other millions of things. Either way, we can't be so protected that we let our guard all the way down.
And unfortunately, that's a lesson I think she has learned. She's probably gonna be like, "Oh, you ain't gonna catch me off guards like this."
Well, she should have got a little bit of that last week when you hiding in the cabinets.
But still, that's people you're hiding from.
Yeah, but, but here we go again.
Yeah, unfortunately, that's just
go again.
So this is just life right now for them.
Okay, so let's talk about some good stuff for a change. Okay,
wait 1 second. Maybe Judith will be the one that says the F word.
Ooh, then she gonna need a whooping.
Ain't gonna need no whooping. She Rick and Michonne's child. Let her say the F word all she wants. Okay, let's talk about some good stuff. We gotta talk about some ships. Because when I say I ship Elijah and Lydia so hard, but I'm so scared. Let me say this about this. So this is what I was going to talk about last week. The montage that they gave at the end of Lydia, Elijah, all of them going off into the sunset, I immediately said, all them about to die. Don't.
Because
no, don't do that.
She's gonna make me mute her because she has been putting Aaron's name in her mouth as a goner since the beginning of this season, and I am not appreciating it.
I don't either, but
if you go back and look at it,
no,
they start playing the little soft music, they are setting the ambiance tone. They had that music going and they going away, and then they slow mode it, so now it's slow mo. Oh, I'm
gonna tell you this.
That whole group is dead.
I feel like now, I don't know, I kind of I was worried about Aaron. I'm gonna be honest. I was worried about Aaron because a lot of people speculated, because if you look at him, he looks the way Rick does in the comics. Rick in the comics, he's got the short hair, he's got the overgrown beard, he's got the one arm, because in the comics, Rick lost his arm. So a lot of people were speculating that he was going to get Rick's comic book death, because spoiler for you, Michelle, comic book, because I know you're probably not going to read the comic book anytime soon. Sebastian is the one who kills Rick in the comics. Right. So a lot of people were like, oh, they're in the Commonwealth. Aaron is in the Commonwealth. He looks like comic Rick. Okay, he's going to get Rick's death. When I say the minute that goddamn walker bit into Sebastian's neck, I was like, yes, he's safe. And then I thought about it. I was like, this The Walking Dead, ain't nobody safe. But for now, at least I know he's not going to get that death. Or if he gets that death, it's not by Sebastian. And that was the only thing that pissed me off, because I was like, how you going to have Rick Grimes, who survived all of this shit, get killed by a punk ass like Sebastian Milton? That was the thing that pissed me off when I heard about it. I was like, are you serious?
Out of anybody that could have killed him, this is how he died.
He dies, yeah.
So,
but going back to Aaron, every episode Aaron in, I feel like Aaron's about to die, to be honest with you.
I think they're doing that.
I mean, every time lately, everything he does, I'm like, oh, here we go. Aaron's going. Okay, he didn't go. Okay, Aaron's going.
I feel like Aaron is going to be one of the people that makes it to the end simply because everybody is expecting him to die. That's how I feel. Aaron gonna make it to the end. I'm not paying you no attention, Casey. I'm not paying you no attention. But
every time I'm like, Aaron's gonna die.
We're going back to the fun stuff, because I'm not dealing with y'all negative Nancy's. Anyway.
Well, no, I don't want Aaron to die. I really don't. I feel like when his husband died, I feel like, and the daughter, she doesn't deserve that. I don't think Aaron should die. But I'm just saying, every time he's on the screen, they put him in close quarters to die.
That's my theory, and I'm sticking to it. Aaron is going to outlive everybody's thoughts and expectations because of the fact that everybody's expecting him to die.
Right.
Okay, he'll make it to episode 23.
Now, this is what issue I have with them telling us somewhat the spinoffs. Then I'm like, okay, at least I know my favorites are not going to die, and I don't like that. I wish I didn't know about it so that I could be like, Rick and Michonne, I'm okay with because they're not currently on the show, and I'm like, okay,
and we know they're not dead, so
right. So I'm okay with that. But everyone else, I'm like, man, now I know that nothing's gonna happen to them.
That was a complaint that a lot of people had, and I think I saw an interview or a comment somewhere that when they announced the Maggie and Negan show, that even Jeffrey Dean Morgan was kind of thrown off and disappointed because he was like, I don't think they were expecting that announcement to be made. And he was like, so you just basically told people two of the main protagonists are okay. You know, it kind of dims the anticipation, or because that's what, even with this now, we're all wondering, are our people going to be okay? Like, okay, yeah, I know Negan is going to be fine, but when I tell y'all I have grown attached to Annie and I do not want anything to happen to her and this baby for several reasons. One, I like her. Two, she's a Black character. And there's not enough of them on this show. We have some, but not enough. And I just don't want her to die. She's a Black female character. And that never goes well when they kill us off in shows, especially sci-fi fantasy related type things. But also, I just feel like she adds another layer to the whole Negan thing. As far as his quote unquote redemption, or his trying to seek, him trying to, I don't want to say make amends, but at least he's trying to be a different person than he was before. And I think that's what makes me mad about people who are so hateful of him. I'm like, so you're basically saying that because somebody did something wrong, that they don't deserve a chance to change? It'd be different if he was like Alpha. Alpha knew she killed. Yeah, she had no qualms about it. Yeah. She basically was like, oh, it's the Des world. We're just living in it. And you need to either acclimate or die. That's different.
Kids, babies, it doesn't even matter for her.
Right. Even with the governor, I feel like the governor, for the most part, he could have been redeemed after all the stuff he did with his first group. Because you saw him out on his own, you saw him kind of despondent. Then he finds this family, Tara and her sister and her niece, and he kind of gets in with them. He's with the sister. I can't remember what Tara's sister's name is. And then he becomes like, he gets a second chance at being a father figure to someone. And I feel like that could have been a turning point for him. And then, of course, when he finds out about the prison, kind of, sort of, because this is how I feel. The people at the prison wasn't bothering you. Yeah, the people at the prison, they were not bothering you. So when you found out that there were people at the prison, you could have just let them go. Y'all are behind walls. Y'all got nice houses. You got running water. You have all the things that this prison does not have. And if you rolled up on the prison and you saw their setup, okay, yeah, they got traps, but they're still having to deal with walkers. They're still they're still in danger. Why would you want that? And then to find out, oh, we don't want that. We just don't want you in there. No, to me, that is what you call an irredeemable character. Mm-hmm. There is no way that you can save him. And then the shit that he did afterward was just, you know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. But I like Annie for that reason. She kind of gives him something to say, okay, you know what? Even if I was teetering on whether or not I wanted to be okay with these people, now I have a reason to say, okay, you know what? I got to get my shit together. I can't be the same type of person I was. Now, granted, I don't think he needs to lose all of his ruthlessness, because it comes in handy. Especially if you're going to come into contact with another group similar to what he was, and you know what's going to happen because of the world that they live in. You're going to need somebody who actually thinks like these people. Just like he was able to get in and infiltrate Alpha.
Mm-hmm.
Alpha. He was able to get in there and infiltrate so deeply that she got intimate with him.
Right.
Is this something you ever saw happening with this character? No, because she seemed cold, she seemed heartless, and she seemed very calculating. Negan was that little, thing that kind of threw things off. So anyway, going back to what I was saying, I like Annie. I don't want anything to happen to her. I love seeing Rosita and Gabriel kind of mending things, because I think at one point we pretty much figured out that they maybe had broken up, or they were kind of having issues with each other after he came back from going to Meridian with them, because the one time we did see them in the Commonwealth, they were talking about, who was going to keep Coco? Oh, she can come to my place. And I was like, excuse me, what you mean your place? What is this? Like, their pairing was weird to me at first, but now I kind of like it. So it's like,
well, I thought so too at first. And then I was like, okay, I'm digging it. But that's how I feel. I'm sorry. I feel about Negan.
Really?
I'm not into that yet.
Okay. And I mean, that's cool.
I'm just not who I'm imagining him with.
Who are you imagining him with?
I'm not quite sure.
I was going to say, as long as you don't say Maggie. As long as you don't.
I was going to say Maggie.
Because there are actually Maggie and Negan shippers out there.
But I can see that though.
I can kind of sort of see.
I can see it, but like 10 years from now.
I feel the tension, but I don't think I would ever say, like, I just don't see that happening, especially considering your child knows that this is the person that killed his father. I don't see that ever working at all. No,
they won't have no romantic relationship.
Okay, now that.
That's what I see from them. I don't see, like, I'm just saying we on the road and we're lonely and then that's it. I'm just saying.
I don't know if I see Maggie.
And then she hates it.
I don't know if I see Maggie hate banging. Like, I don't see that. Now, I will say this. I can see it. I could actually see it with Negan and Carol. Because, okay, and I say that because one, I feel like their dynamic is really good. Like, I think they see each other for who they are. And that's like, I feel like that could be a friendship in a sense. And I'm saying friendship. I feel like that could be a friendship in a sense, because she knows the measure of who he is and he knows the measure of who she is. And I think because they see each other in that way, they could be totally honest with each other. And I can see a friendship being there. Now, as far as anything romantic or sexual, I could only see it because I feel like if they were in a situation where it was just them and they had needs, they could do it. And then, like, Carol would literally get up and look at him and be like, okay, whatever, and keep going. That's the way I look at that. Do I see it happening? No, I don't want to see it happen, but I could see something like that, because it's something that I feel like with Carol, if she were to do something like that with Negan, it would there's no emotion involved at all. If it's Maggie, it's different, because there would be a hate thing there, because this is a man that killed your husband. And then there would be guilt that it's too much. Like, there's no way you can just hate
real life
person, because it's too much emotion involved, even in the hating of him. Carol would be indifferent. You know what I'm saying?
Right, but see, but that's not where the tension comes from. The tension comes from.
I can't.
The only time that I remember
I can't. I can see Negan and Maggie being reluctant allies, and that's about it. I do not want to imagine. No.
I can't see it either way.
I mean, I could see it. It's a stretch, but I could see it. But they couldn't have a romantic relationship. That's what I'm saying. I can see a relationship, but it wouldn't be a romantic relationship. it will happen one time.
It would be a hate bang.
And then it will be like, even if they were on the road and they was drinking and they just felt comfortable and something sad maybe happened, and then it happened, and then she
it
realized,
would be a hate
I can't.
bang, and then she would hate herself for the rest of her life for doing that. No, I can't see it. I can see it, but I don't want to see it. Let me put it like that.
Okay.
I can see it,
but all I'm saying is they having the show together. He's not going to have a kid with him on the road. So I'm just saying something.
Casey, what do you have to say about this?
You said neither will Maggie.
Herschel ain't going.
I think Herschel would go because he's older, and it'll be her, Herschel, her, and Negan. But I can't see him also bringing his wife and child.
I think if Annie survives the end of this show, and if Herschel survives the end of this show, I don't see Maggie taking Herschel on something like that. One, because he has ambivalent feelings towards Negan, and that will make things difficult because he's going to be a child. If she tells him to do something, he's going to be mad because y'all here with Negan. If Negan tells him to do something, he might flat out refuse to do it, and that could put them in danger. So I feel like if all of them survive, and whatever it is that takes Maggie and Negan to New York, I feel like Annie would have had the baby, so she can't really do any traveling anyway. She's going to keep Herschel with her because we already see, and we've seen several times, Maggie trusts Annie with Herschel. So that's what I feel like it's going to be. Like Annie will stay behind. I don't know if they're still going to be in Alexandria or if they're going to end up taking over the Commonwealth. I don't know. But I feel like she's going to have the baby. She's going to keep Herschel because whatever detour they're about to take to New York is not going to be for long, quote unquote. And then whatever happens. I mean, the show is only 6 episodes. So I don't know how that's going to work. But yeah, that's kind of what I see.
Yeah. And I do see Herschel having a relationship with Negan. It's just going to be a conflicting relationship. It's just like he likes him at certain points and then hate him other points. And remember that conversation of when I get to a certain age, I will step to him.
Yeah, that's gonna be Kill
he's
Bill
gonna be upset. He's gonna be upset with himself sometimes when he's like, "Oh, I understand Negan," and then
he's gonna be conflicted.
Yeah, he will be. But I think at some points he'll be like, you'll be thinking, "Oh my gosh, you kind of like him," but then the next week he was like, because he's gonna be a teenager, pretty much, middle schooler, so he's gonna be conflicted with his relationship with Negan too.
Yeah.
So.
Okay. All right.
We were talking about positive points.
We are.
I got one positive.
We are. We're going to talk about some more positive.
When Daryl put the knife in Lance's hand and say,
"Girl,
he will live."
What he say? I ain't kill him.
Yeah.
I died. I said, what?
That was a positive.
We said this last week. We were like, Lance gonna learn not to fuck with Daryl. Daryl done shot you in the cheek. He done shot you in the shoulder. He done put a hole in your hand. Leave this man the fuck alone.
Leave him alone. And you don't mess with nobody. Mess with everybody else. Mess with everybody in the Commonwealth. Everybody from Alexandria. Mess with everybody but that man and them kids.
Mm-hmm.
Anybody.
Right.
Daryl is going to kill him. Daryl has to be the one to kill him.
Mm-hmm.
Has to.
Mm-hmm.
Has to.
Mm-hmm.
It wouldn't be more satisfying for anybody else.
You know what? No, because I said this a few episodes ago when Carol found out about the house and the fact that Daryl and Rosita got trapped in there and all this, and her and Mercer had. Remember, I said Carol's probably going to be the one to kill Lance because Lance, I think he sees Carol for who she is. He doesn't fall for that. oh, I'm just a little old lady. I don't know. Lance doesn't fall for that, but I still think that he underestimates her and he underestimates our group. Again, Daryl injured you 3 different ways in the span of what, a week? So
and you still fucking with him.
And you still fucking with him.
Once you shot me in the face, I'm good. Oh, you know what? Forget what we had going on. You got that.
And then once you shot me in the shoulder.
Right.
You know what? I thought about it even more. I'm really done.
Right. But yeah, so I think if it's not Daryl,
and then you stab me through my hand, fuck you.
Yeah. If it's not Daryl, I would say Carol. That's who I said a few episodes ago, and I'm gonna stick with that. I think it's gonna be Carol.
Okay.
So, and I think
I'll say Daryl. I'm gonna stick with Daryl.
Okay.
I'm gonna stick with Daryl.
Okay.
I say Daryl.
Other positives. That Carol and Ezekiel scene was cute, but it was sad because Ezekiel is talking about staying. No, bruh. No.
Ezekiel don't want to have to do shit.
Yep.
Ezekiel don't want to have to do shit. He has found his little zookeeper life again.
Well, I mean, and I understand that. And he still, Carol mentioned something about his treatment. So he's still being treated for the cancer.
And he runs the free clinic.
Oh, well, yeah, and I understand that. But this woman specifically came out to find you and was like, you're not coming, are you? Bruh.
You will. No. Well, never mind.
Long distance relationships don't work. I still want them to get back together. I loved Carol and Ezekiel together.
I did too.
So, anyway, so let's see.
Another positive, Judith still got good aim.
Oh, she does.
Yeah.
She does. And you know what? I will say this too, even though, yes, Casey, I was like, yeah, Judith need a whooping. It's nice to see her acting like a normal teenager for a change. Mm-hmm. Like, not just, happy with everything and hanging with her friends, but going through the emotional, I don't want to do what you tell me to do, is sitting there like this. Like, why do we have to leave? Why are we going back home if it's broken? And she was mad.
She needed a whooping.
Whatever. And RJ reading the Invincible comic. That was cute, but somebody pointed out it's kind of like a nod to Carl because I think when Michonne brought him some comics or something having to do with comics, because Carl was into comics and we've seen him with comics, in past episodes, but he was also reading an Invincible comic at one point. And then of course, Invincible, written by Robert Kirkman, and the TV show had Glenn and Maggie and Aaron, and had a whole bunch of voice actors from The Walking Dead in a couple of their episodes. So I thought that was cute. Cute. But the whole Carol and Daryl thing, again, there are moments when things seem a little tense between them. I think they still have some issues they need to work out. But it's also funny that when Judith went missing, she was the person he went to go find to help him. And she was the one that had to give him the pep talk about being a parent. Because he was like, I don't know what I'm doing. I'm like, oh, Daryl, you're doing great. Look, you've kept both of these kids alive in a zombie apocalypse. You're doing great. You're doing great.
Look, they just got a little attitude. They ain't dead.
RJ doesn't have an attitude. He was just like, I ain't gonna get in trouble. My big sister told me to keep my mouth shut. He's typical little brother. He's cute. But okay, so let's get into some of the meat and potatoes of this episode, because we gotta talk about Max. Max is the MVP of this episode. Because when I tell you,
Max was not letting it go. Max didn't care.
No, she wasn't.
Like, I'm not letting this go. I'm not just about to let this be swept up on the road. Hornsby didn't know. And then when they went to go visit Hornsby, and Hornsby was like, leave them motherfuckers alone. That's what you do.
He was like, oh, and tell your little girlfriend too. But Eugene was like, I just want us to be safe. And she was like, if you don't want to do this, he was like, no, I just want us to be safe. But is this what you're doing? This what I'm doing. I'm like, okay, Eugene is all in here. And I'm here for it. Again, I love them as a couple. It's like it's different and it's quirky. And I like it. I just like the fact
It's
that Eugene
sweet.
has found someone.
Yes.
But yeah, she is a firecracker. And when she walked in there and turned on that recorder, I was like, oh, this shit.
I didn't think he was gonna say all that he said. I thought she was just gonna catch some, but
he let it all out.
Everything.
And she got it all on cassette tape.
I did not think he would, because he started off like not bad, but then he was like, fuck it, off the deep end and jumped his ass in and let it all out, like,
and was still like low-key being condescending and insulting to her in the midst of all of that.
As hell.
So yes, I did not feel bad at all when what happened. She recorded him saying all this negative stuff about the Commonwealth and how, these people are so stupid and, the way of the world is that the poor stay poor so the rich can keep doing what they. I was like, oh, she got a gold mine. I was so scared though that something was going to happen and the recording wasn't going to go off the way it was. You know what I'm saying? I was thinking, oh, maybe the tape is in the wrong spot or maybe it's not going to work or something. But as soon as she turned around, she looked at Eugene. She was like, I said, oh, it's about to
go down.
He pressed play. And the crazy thing about it is you probably say so much stupid shit like that all the time. It didn't even register to you from the first few words. Oh, I literally just said this a few hours ago. And I know who I said it to. You sat there arguing with your mama trying to figure out, what is this? I didn't say, yes, you did. That's your fucking voice. I was like, how dumb can you be?
He is stupid.
And I don't like Commonwealth where, okay, now when she's finished, he's going to take over. No. Let's vote. Let's have an actual democracy here because he's an idiot.
You just automatically get the job?
No, this should not happen.
See, they're having that kind of problem in House of the Dragon too, but we won't talk about that.
Yeah,
right?
but I mean, yeah, that's true. So, I just don't.
Like, just because your grandfather was presidential material, because your mother is, political material. But I mean, this is the same thing. Since I mentioned House of the Dragon, it's the same thing that we see going on with Aegon II. He doesn't want to be king, but all these people around him are forcing him to usurp his sister's claim to the throne. Same thing with Sebastian. Sebastian is like, when she said, you are the future of this place, did you see the look on his face? He was like, I don't want to be the future.
Right. Because
he even says as much to Max, he's like, this is supposed to be my brother. Not me. I just happen to be the one who's still here. He doesn't want this. What about any of his behavior makes you think that he would be a great leader? You literally just had to lie on someone else or really like throw someone else under the bus to get him clear from the evil shit that he was doing. And yeah, Lance is taking the fall for it now, but Sebastian did that shit. And matter of fact, he went to Lance for that. Lance said as much. He was like, I only helped Sebastian because he's your son. Anyway, Sebastian dumb. Because you couldn't figure out where that recording came from. And then when you did, it was already so much chaos because people mad and they starting to throw stuff. I'm sorry. I will say this about Max. Your ass should have been gone.
That is true, though. That is true.
I understand you want to sit there and read
and enjoy it.
You want to sit there and enjoy it. But your ass should have been gone.
Yes, you should have.
I look back at her. As soon as he pressed play, you should have been out.
You should have been. And I think part of it is she wanted to see the look on his face when he realized what happened and who did it, because of the fact that he thinks so lowly of her. Oh, you're just my mother's lackey. Yeah, but look at what your mother's lackey just did. She just exposed your dumb ass for all you are. So I get that part, but you could have did that from across the square.
You could have just took off running.
Eugene.
And Eugene be like, I don't know where this came from.
Or here's the thing. No, I think Eugene knew, because Eugene, he pressed play. As soon as it started playing, he backed up, and Eugene was that's what she should have been doing. Eugene was getting down those stairs. He was like, nope, let me go. he should have grabbed her and took off. But as you see, she starts running when Sebastian realizes it's her. She starts running through the crowd. And then, of course, what happened? Shira and Calhoun shot the city workers. So now you got walkers walking inside the square, and like we said earlier, all these hundreds of people panicking over 8 walkers. Like, y'all couldn't pick up a stick, y'all couldn't pick up something, and like, here it is. I mean, think about it. If
it was really sad seeing everyone running around not knowing what to do, and you're literally standing there and letting the walker come right up to you and bite you, and you're like, okay. Like, literally, you can run a little bit faster, you can kick, you can push, and you
trip
keep
one
going.
of them motherfuckers over. Make them fall. It's gonna take them a minute to get up.
You know, get the ice cream cart, roll them over. I'm just saying, something. Help. And help yourself.
I hate to say this, and I in every disaster movie, I see it in every panic situation. Where all these motherfuckers in the background come from? Why y'all all not running in one direction? Why is it constant this in the background? Like, even if you go to Marvel movies, where y'all keep coming from? Once you see this, why is you still in the street? Why are you still right here? So,
because here's the thing, all 8 of them came from the same direction. They're in a cluster. There's hundreds of y'all, but this is what Rick was talking about. This is what Rick was talking about. Because I'm sorry, I might not be a Michonne or a Rosita or a Carol, but if I see a walker coming, I'm gonna find something to hit it with. If I'm something, you could have grabbed the ice cream scoop off the truck and at least hit it in the head one of good times. Like I said, they had plenty of flower pots. I mean, y'all were just at a wrestling match. There were chairs on the stage. Get a chair and hit that motherfucker like they do in the wrestling matches. I mean, seriously. These people.
If the next something got a whole bunch of people running in the background, I'm just...
Y'all could have been done with this quick.
That many people didn't have to die.
They didn't.
Nobody had to die.
And also, I'm gonna say this. I don't know if this is true, but I'm just gonna speculate. Hi, Tiger Lily. Casey's pointing because she came up like, "Hey, pay me some attention." So I'm not saying that it is a wig, but Casey and I have speculated that Max's hair is a wig. If somebody is chasing you, you got on a red sweater and a black and white shirt while you are running and all that commotion is going. I need you to take that sweater off and I need you to snatch that damn wig off your head. Because chances are he don't know what you look like without all that stuff. You could have just taken the sweater off.
Yeah, because the wig may be glued on, to her braids. You can't just snatch that off now.
So now,
however,
you got to remember that the zombie in this timeline, the zombie apocalypse happened in 2010. So they don't have all of the innovations that we have now.
We still have wig glue back then.
They didn't have wig glue.
You just didn't have no lace front. You didn't have lace front. That's why she don't have that. She didn't have lace front But you did have wig sticky tape to hold that wig down now. That was back in the day too.
You think somebody was really prioritizing finding sticky tape?
Shoot, they get Rocky Road ice cream.
Rocky
getting
Road
those fresh
ice cream
wigs.
is a necessity.
Okay, so how she get fresh wigs? Then. Because you should be able to get no fresh wig now.
I'm just saying.
She should have been natural. Yep, she found a beauty supply store outside the walls. She's the only one going to it.
But even if it's not a wig, she could have at least taken the sweater off.
Yeah,
he's looking for you with the hair and the red sweater because that's what you had on. You need to
take off running for real. Just take off,
or run through the crowd because I'm sorry.
Or not be there when he's fucking done.
That too.
Don't be there.
Or run your ass back to the wrestling mat and find your goddamn brother. Speaking of which,
your brother ain't gonna let nothing happen to you.
I'm finna be like Anthony last night. Sidebar. Let's talk about this wrestling match.
Why?
You know, I think in a way. Now I watched the after credits with Angela Kang talking about how they switched it to wrestling because in the comics, football was the sport that they kind of rallied around, but because of COVID restrictions and protocols, they felt like wrestling would be safer because there's less people having, that kind of contact with each other. So I can get that. But I thought the really interesting thing about the wrestling match was you're seeing the camera pan on different people, but then you see them focusing on Daryl's face. And I didn't think about it until I watched it this second time. I was like, he's having flashbacks of when he was in the fighting pit in Woodbury.
Oh,
remember they had him and his brother getting ready to fight each other, and people were there like cheering for the barbaric nature of the event. And I feel like when they kept focusing on Daryl and all he's doing is looking at how people are reacting, I think he was saying, okay, yes, this is what people really are. They like violence as entertainment. Like, these people have no idea what it is to have to live through that kind of violence for real. And I think he really was kind of thinking about that, like having a flashback a little bit. Like, okay, yeah. These and again, people are fickle. Yesterday, y'all were calling for Pamela Milton and Sebastian's heads. And today, everything is hunky-dory. Oh, it's Founders Day and we're celebrating. And y'all ain't thought nothing of that.
Petting zoo, ice cream, popcorn, wrestling match.
So I just thought that was interesting, for it to be a wrestling match. I was like, so we got WWE in the Commonwealth. I want to know where the hell they got the damn wrestling mat from. That's my question. But, but again,
the wrestling match store was next to the beauty supply.
Right. No, there's probably an old high school or something around in the area. They probably, because I mean, if you think about it, we keep forgetting, and we said this last week, the Commonwealth is 50,000 people. And we saw from that kind of pan view last week, the Commonwealth is actually pretty fucking big. We're only seeing a corner of what that whole community is like. So there probably was like a high school, maybe two high schools. Because I mean, you're talking 50,000 people. There had to be several schools in that area that you done blocked off.
Or someone made it. Because if you have everyone doing certain jobs based on what they did in the past, you could have people make things, and you just had to find the materials.
Yeah, I don't know. I think it would be easier to find a ready-made wrestling mat or wrestling ring than it would be to find the material.
I don't know. I don't think for Pamela, because I don't think Pamela's gonna want the wrestling match to be looking like the school colors. She wants things a certain way.
Not school colors.
I don't know. You might be right.
Because a lot of things that they have, they had to.
Yeah.
Someone had to build it. Someone had to make it.
Mm-hmm. So
keep it up too to maintain it.
Right. So. Why is Rosita's baby not old enough to walk? But that baby is so cute.
No. Remember how long Judith was a baby?
Well, yeah.
Remember how long Judith was a baby?
Yeah, so we know the time is not moving that fast.
Judith
That's
was
a cute little baby though.
That's true.
A cute little baby though.
Judith was a baby for 7 seasons.
But I will say this. So I know from the promos for the this third part of the season, there's a lot of things that I've seen in the trailers that we haven't gotten to yet. One of the scenes is of Rosita carrying Coco in a carrier, trying to climb up a wall, getting away from a whole bunch of walkers. If y'all do anything to Rosita and that baby, Rosita is one I really am scared of something happening. And in some ways, maybe Gabriel too. And the reason why is because the conversation they were having in the church, when he said something about he didn't think he'd ever find his way back to God, but these parishioners, they gave that back to me. And she said, well, you've given them a lot too, and that will stay with them long after you're gone. I was like, please don't say stuff like that. Don't say stuff like that. Why would you say stuff like that? I know she was talking about when they leave the Commonwealth, but that just kind of has me worried. And I don't want, shut up, because I know that's another one that's been on your lips, and I don't want that because I need a Gabriel and Aaron spinoff. I'm just saying. But if y'all do anything to Rosita,
not everybody is going to survive. The last episode is called Rest in Fucking Peace.
That could be talking about Pamela Milton.
Or Aaron.
It says rest in peace.
Or Aaron.
PEACE, meaning yes, we have peace away from these motherfuckers. That's how I'm taking it. That's how I'm taking it. Like I said, I know there's gonna be people who get mad if no major deaths happen. They're gonna be like, oh, all that build up for nothing. I would love it if all my people survive.
Major deaths are going to happen
on the Commonwealth side.
We do know 4 people who ain't gonna die. We know 4 who ain't gonna die. Everybody else is up for grabs. Everybody else,
as long as they don't touch Jerry and
everybody else,
and Ezekiel,
Aaron, Gabriel, and Ezekiel are all gone. All 3. Aaron, Gabriel, Ezekiel gone. Rosita and the baby too. So now I'm up to 4.
You know what?
No,
go.
I think we're gonna put Casey off of this.
Just remember today. What's today? Today is Wednesday, October 19th. That I said
at some point. I think maybe next episode or the episode after that. Because let's see, we have 6 episodes left. Maybe when we get down to the last 5 episodes, we might do a Deadpool. And see, okay, these are who we are predicting.
I'm with it.
So, okay, we might have to do that.
I'm with it.
I'm gonna make my list now.
You know what? I can't stand y'all.
And you know who number 1 on the list?
I'm not.
Aaron.
I'm not paying you no attention. He's number
1 with a bullet.
You know what? I can't.
Okay, yeah. Start the Deadpool because I'm ready.
I think we've said that Sebastian's death is so satisfying. Have we said that yet?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Thank God.
Okay.
How many people cheered?
I was sitting on my couch.
When they was not helping him, I was like, he about to die.
You about to die.
But my thing is, I mean, honey, can you not help yourself either?
Right.
And then you get it off of you and you just still sit on the ground. Help me.
That's what I was saying. Like, I'm sorry and he wasn't even bit at that point.
No.
Get your ass up and go. I mean, I'm glad he didn't, but get your ass up and go.
I know. He just
I'm telling you, Commonwealth people are soft. You got people running every which way in the square when y'all only got 8 fucking walkers to deal with against y'all's hundreds of people. Oh, Mercer took out 2. Oh, I did say that. Mercer took out 2. Daryl took out 2. Judith took out 2. So there's still 2 unaccounted for. But I mean, y'all could have taken them out. Sebastian, when you threw that walker off of you, you could have gotten the hell up. But that's okay. He got what he deserved, because when he pushed Max into that walker, I was about to get mad. And then here comes Eugene like motherfucking Superman.
Ain't no way.
Pushed him and took Max. And they were just sitting there looking. He was like, come on, we need to go. And she was like, no, I want to see this. Okay, we can go now. Let me tell you, Sebastian, he could have saved himself. All these people, they could have saved themselves. And I'm just tripping because, at the beginning of the episode, Pamela had the nerve to tell Lance that he's trying to play the game when he doesn't even realize that he was never really a player in the first place. I think he just showed you that he has been in this game.
He's the ringleader. He's the ringleader.
Because I bet you didn't expect him to orchestrate some death and mayhem from inside his little dungeon cell.
Mm-hmm.
All from a window this damn big. That's why these motherfuckers go to prison and still be running their enterprises. Because what do this stop? I'm just not here. I'm still who I am. And if somebody can at least, he didn't even speak no words to them. He looked at them.
We said that damn Shira was going to be a problem, but I didn't think it was going to be like on this level. When we first found out about her duplicity, I didn't think it was going to be on this level. Like, I just thought Lance had lackeys, or I would say I thought he had people to do other, the more heinous crimes. No, Stephanie, not Stephanie. She all in the thick of it. But that made her a good that made her a good spy. That made her a good switch for Max. But
I didn't like that.
What?
The whole Stephanie switch.
Oh.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I felt so bad for Eugene.
I did. I mean, it hurt my heart. That hurt my heart.
Oh, mine too. I was like, and then the indignity of it. We always talk about how people, how men do women wrong when it comes to stuff like that. Like, you knew this man, 1, was a virgin, 2, was very emotionally involved.
Mm-hmm.
And y'all just have no regard. And then when he came looking for you because he thought something had happened, you looked at him like he was on the bottom of his shoe. Oh yeah, she made me and Casey mad. We were talking about her ass.
But then I felt bad for Max too, because it's like, we've been talking, so y'all conversations, you should have realized it wasn't me.
That part.
But here's the thing.
She's a little different in how she answers him too, so he should have. But like he said, though, I like his answer though. I have been without love, and this beautiful person said they interested in me.
Mm-hmm.
I just forgot about those conversations.
That's not the thing though. She didn't forget about the conversations. Once they realized that Max was sending out those messages, they didn't know where it was coming from. They were listening in on those conversations.
I know, but she still can't respond the way that Max responds. Even if you listen to you being a spy, it's still different because her knowledge level is not like Max's knowledge level.
But she knew enough. She knew enough.
Yeah, but
especially when she was reading his manuscript.
Yeah, but she's also working on. He's also working on feelings.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
he got
hormones.
He got
he wasn't. Yeah, he wasn't paying attention either. So he was honest, and I felt him saying like, literally, I haven't had anyone.
Mm-hmm.
This person interested in me, so I wasn't thinking about like, yeah, you would have said that or
right.
or responded to my, like they came up with the same character in his book, and she didn't even read his book.
Yeah.
So
I don't know.
So I don't know. I felt bad.
Oh, I did too.
So
I'm glad he has Max.
Yeah, I
But
do too.
Shira, she's one of those characters I feel like she probably will die at some point.
Very
I would
soon.
really like for Eugene to be the one to like off her.
Max.
Oh, Max would be even better. But what I'm saying, for the level of hurt that she did to Eugene, yes, Eugene deserves all of that. Yeah. He deserves it all.
Yeah, he does. Or both of them at the same time.
That will work too.
They could all stand around like they did for Sebastian and just watch. Y'all come look at this. Hey, come here.
Right. Oh, okay. So one other thing I want to talk about, going back to Negan and Annie. There was people on the internet mad because of the ultrasound scene. Because they were like, no, they didn't mirror that after Glenn and Maggie looking at their ultrasound. I was like, y'all, there's not too many ways that you can film an ultrasound scene, and she's pregnant and has been without medical care. Why wouldn't the first thing she go do is, oh, you have a doctor, you have an ultrasound machine, let me go check and make sure everything is okay? Why wouldn't she do that?
Right.
It's just the level of mad that people get just because Negan is involved. I'm like, y'all, come on, let's be rational. She's a pregnant woman. She's been without medical care, and now she has access to medical care. Yeah, they're gonna have to check her to see. I mean, what did y'all want to see a scene with her feet in the stirrups and the doctor between her legs? I mean,
how did you?
There's not too many different ways that you can have an ultrasound. I know I had 3 children.
They always the same.
Always the same. Pretty much the same thing. Okay, I'm gonna look. Okay, it's gonna be cold gel. Literally, it's like you can read it from a speech. But yeah, people were mad about that too. But I don't know. I will say this. The other thing, and we said this on the last episode, I love the way that they are starting these episodes out with the montages.
Oh, I do
of the characters. They came in with Daryl. I was like, look at that baby face.
Yes.
He looked like such a baby. And remember how angry he sounded and how whiny not whiny in that sense, but it's like his voice was so different.
Yes.
And to see that montage come out, and then also, the hurt to see him every time he was carrying somebody. It was Judith. It was this. It was I was like, y'all gonna make me cry at the beginning of every episode. In these last
I love that though.
I
do too.
Love that.
And to hear Judith's voiceover, because I feel like she's telling this story from her perspective as she's older. I don't know if that's what it's supposed to be, but that's kind of what I feel like. Like she's older now. She's looking back on the people that she knows and what has happened to get them to whatever point they get to at the end. So I was like, I kind of like that. But boy, when I saw Daryl, I was like, I mean, the first one, the one from last week, Rick, I was like, y'all really gonna start us out like this? And now we got Daryl. So who
you have to go to the beginning. To the end.
I know.
You have to.
So that means Carol's gonna be next because she's the only other original from season 1 that's on the show now. So I feel like they did Rick first. They're gonna do Daryl. They're gonna do Carol, and then let's see. They may do Aaron. Maggie. Oh yeah, Maggie. They probably will do Aaron. They may do Negan, just because Judith has a bit of a relationship with him as well. And then the last one will probably be Judith. So did y'all hear that Andy Lincoln is in Paris right now?
Yes. You know, I got my passport ready, like.
And I know that Norman Reedus talked last week about how he's been back and forth and he's been scouting locations and, you know, for the show, and they've been doing this and they've been doing that. And I was like, oh, Andy's in France, huh? Oh.
You know they're gonna have to. You know they're doing something at the Eiffel Tower. You just know it.
Yeah,
they have to. You can't be in Paris and not do that.
Yeah, it's kind of especially a zombie apocalypse Eiffel Tower.
Yes,
falling apart.
So dope. That's gonna be so dope.
I am really like I'm trying not to read too much about his show. I do know that somebody posted some kind of synopsis. I don't know how official it is, but when I read it, I was like, okay. Somebody said they might be trying to throw a Leah 2.0 into the Daryl show. I said, if her name is not Connie, I do not want it. If her name is not Connie, I do not want it. But yeah, so Rick is in Paris. I did see.
I'm ready to go right now.
I did see a new picture of Denai and Andy and Scott. So we do know that the spinoffs are getting underway. I think I heard that the Rick and Michonne show will start shooting in January.
I saw that. Mm-hmm.
So we could get it late next year. I would say probably fall. I don't think they'll be done by summer, but they'll probably have enough. They'll have enough during the summer to give us a taste or to give us a teaser. The Negan and Maggie show is supposed to debut in April, I believe. So I'm thinking April for that one, probably a summer release for Daryl's, and then Rick and Michonne in the fall. Just give it to me. Just give it to me. And then we still have Fear the Walking Dead to look forward to. And we still need to go do a road trip. But
yes, we do.
Oh, let's see. Y'all have any final thoughts about this episode? I think we nailed it all. We talked about it all.
I feel like right now we're on a roller coaster and we slowly getting up to the top.
Absolutely.
Yeah. To the point where they hang you over the edge right before they drop you. So that we trekking up right now because some shit is building and some shit is coming. And when they drop and all these people start dying, Aaron, it's gonna coast off real quick.
You know what? She gonna make me reach through this doggone camera. So anyway, before we end, we will be at the camp next weekend, which is a Walking Dead centric fan event, kind of like a small convention. Casey and I went to the camp in May of this year, and we still haven't gotten a chance to talk about it. So we'll probably do that this time.
One big.
Yeah, I was kind of like shell shocked because I came back from the camp with COVID. I don't think I got it there, but I came back and I was sick, and I was just kind of like, So anyway, we will be there. All three of us. Michelle will be joining us.
Yes,
this will be her first Walking Dead event. I know that there will be a viewing party there that night. We'll be watching the new episode. Yeah, we're gonna have some fun. We will probably do a couple of quick videos, maybe actually do a podcast recording while we're there in person. So that should be fun. And then Casey and I are still waiting for details about the fan event in LA on November 20th. And I'm starting to sound like a broken record, but every time the Talking Dead gets on their show and they're like, we're going to have this big fan event on November 20th. What are you going to do? Send us a message or whatever. I'm like, I'm waiting on y'all to tell me what y'all doing so I can buy my plane ticket.
I am the message. I'm coming. I'm the message. That's the message I want to send. Me.
Yeah.
Just give me some details.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So I think at this point, Casey and I have just decided we're going to go ahead and just buy our tickets. We're going to get a hotel room close to where we think it might be. There have been some rumors on Twitter about where the event is supposed to happen. So, I mean, we know it's in LA. So there's only a few places in LA that it could be for an event of that magnitude.
Mm-hmm. And what's the date for the last episode again?
November 20th, the Sunday right before Thanksgiving.
They need to give that information now.
Right. It's a holiday travel weekend.
Right.
They absolutely do.
Tell us what it is. Jeez.
They're going to stress me out.
All the way.
That's all right. I'm still going to be there. Just got to find something to wear. But yeah, so I guess that's going to wrap up this episode. We talked about everything. We talked about the camp. So we might be doing some lives next weekend while we're surrounded by Walking Dead peoples and families. So look out for that. But for now, that's it for our show. You can find us online at www.fandomhybrid.com. We are on social media on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at Fandom Hybrid. We have a Discord channel. We have a YouTube channel, and you can find us on all major podcast streaming platforms. Thanks for listening. We hope you join the conversation next time.